everybody, this is Ogre Boy, and I'm going to be doing my ultimate Star Wars ranking, where I rank all 17 Star Wars movies I've reviewed on my channel, from my least favorite to most favorite. I know this video is probably going to be pretty long, because there are 17 movies. I'm going to try to go through them as quick as I can, and everything, but, so I'll go ahead and get started. Number 17 is the Star Wars Holiday Special. This one is really weird. It follows Han and Chewie as they're trying to get back to Kashyyyk so that Chewie can spend Life Day with his family. And there's like this subplot with Empire wanting to go after the rebels, and they go to Kashyyyk and everything, and they're also chasing Han and Chewie, and most of the movie is Chewie's family just waiting for them to get there. Like, there's this whole 30-minute segment where it's just the Chewie's family's talking in Wookiee. There's no subtitles and everything, but you can pretty much tell what's going on if you pay attention to it. I know a lot of people don't like it because it gets old listening to the Wookiee noises after so long, but and then there's like all these weird little segments. Like there's a Jefferson Starship song that's really weird, and Chewie's dad watches space porn. It's extremely weird. There's this cooking show that's weird, and then there's a segment with B. Arthur at Mos Eisley Cantina singing a really weird song. It makes absolute no sense. And Greedo's in there, which doesn't make any sense, seeing that he died in A New Hope. And then also, at the end of it, Leia and Luke and Han and all of them get together, and Leia sings a song, and it's just really weird. And George Lucas has disowned this movie and said that he wishes that every copy would be burned that's out there, like the bootleg copies. I don't think it's quite that bad, but I don't really think that it's really that great, and it's easily my least favorite Star Wars thing. So it's number 17, and number 16 is Droids, the Pirate and the Prince. This was 4 episodes of the Star Wars Droids animated series from the 80s put together, and in this they meet this prince with their new C-3PO and R2-D2 were given to this new owner, which doesn't really make any sense with the continuity and stuff, but his name is Jan Tosh, and they meet this prince that they think that's disguised as a droid that gets sold to him too, and they have to help him get back to his home planet, and then help him overthrow someone who's trying to take over the throne. And it's just a really weird movie. The animation is not very good, and the writing isn't extremely great either. Out of this one and the Ewok animated movie, which I'll talk more about in a little bit, it felt like that the writers on the Ewok movie knew more of what they were doing than the writers on this one, and it's just not extremely entertaining. It's not one that I want to revisit very often. So Droids, the Pirates, and the Prince is number 16, and number 15 is Star Wars: The Clone Wars. This was a movie that's like pretty much 4 episodes of the TV show that pretty much was made to set up the animated show that was released not too long after it, and I absolutely love the show, what I've seen of it. I haven't seen a lot of it, but everything I've seen of it I've liked quite a bit. And this, I think, is just okay. It was an alright start to the series, but luckily the series got a lot better. It was pretty cool, though, getting to meet Ahsoka Tano. She was an awesome character, and so it was awesome getting to see her first appearance and everything. And this was just an alright movie. It's not one of my most favorites. I kind of like the little plot that they have to go through with trying to get Jabba's son back to him. I thought that was kind of cool too, but and the fight scene between Ventress and Obi-Wan is really awesome. But besides that, there's not really a lot that I could say about this movie that I really enjoyed. So, The Clone Wars is number 15, and number 14 is Star Wars: Attack of the Clones. This is easily my least favorite out of the Skywalker saga. It has its moments. There were some pretty cool scenes in the third act, especially the arena scene. I thought was really great, and the lightsaber fight between Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Count Dooku was okay. I did like the fight with him and Yoda, although I think both of those fight scenes kind of did go on way too fast and everything. It kind of felt a little anticlimactic. But I thought that this was an okay movie. The first and second acts of this movie, though, are really slow and hard to get through. Especially the second act when they're on Naboo, and the romance stuff between Anakin and Padme is not very good. The dialogue is absolutely terrible, and this has some of the worst CGI out of the prequel trilogy. I do like the scene when they go back to Tatooine and Anakin kills the Sand People after finding his mother and she's been killed. I did like that, but I thought that the emotions in that scene was really good. But besides that, Attack of the Clones is just not one of my favorite movies in the franchise. So it's number 14, and number 13 is Solo: A Star Wars Story. I rewatched this one for the first time the other night, and since I had seen it in the theater, and I really enjoyed it a lot on first watch, but on rewatch I didn't enjoy it as much. I think part of it is because of that sequel bait ending, and knowing that this movie flopped and we're never gonna probably get a sequel to this, it kind of made me just not really enjoy it as much. I mean, there's a lot of stuff built up at the end of it and everything that's never gonna go anywhere, and it just kind of feels pointless. I will say that it does have some great performances, though. Alden Ehrenreich does a decent job as Han Solo. He mainly with the mannerisms. His voice and line delivery is not extremely great, but like his mannerisms and stuff, he does a really good job capturing the mannerisms that Harrison Ford had gave the character. And Donald Glover is great as Lando. But besides that, and I think Camilla Clarke was good as Kira. But once again, that love interest wasn't extremely interesting, because, I mean, if it's not Han and Leia, it just isn't as interesting to me. I thought that their relationship just was okay, and everything, but I think this movie was still a lot better than most people do, and I do think it's a decent one. It's just not one of my most favorites in the franchise, especially because of the sequel baiting that they did. Hopefully we'll get like some continuations with Kira and Darth Maul and stuff in the Disney Plus series about Darth Maul that they're talking about making and everything, and maybe we'll still get some kind of continuity with Han and stuff, maybe in the Obi-Wan show or something. I hope. I doubt we will, but if we do, that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, so Solo is number 13, and number 12 is Ewoks: The Haunted Village. This one was exactly the opposite of what the Droids animated movie thing was. That they edited some good episodes of the show that really made sense on having them edited together, and it was done very well. And I thought it was really enjoyable. I would love to get to see more of the Ewoks animated series. I know there's another animated movie that I think you can get, but I don't know how to get it. It says that it was released on a limited DVD thing. I've never been able to find it. If I ever do, I would love to get it. I'd really love for Disney to re-release the whole animated series just on DVD or something, or put it on Disney Plus. But I thought it was really enjoyable. I know a lot of people don't like the Ewoks and stuff, but I really do like the Ewok movies, and this one was a lot of fun and everything. And I like that there was like magic stuff in here. The Ewoks are movies are more fantasy than sci-fi, and I kind of like that about it and everything. I like that it kind of goes in a different direction and everything. Um, that and It's just a lot of fun. So, Ewoks: The Haunted Village is number 12, and number 11 is Caravan of Courage, an Ewok adventure. This is the first of the Ewok movies, and I think it was a decent movie. It's not quite as good as the second movie, but it still was pretty entertaining. The first 30 minutes are really slow, and there is the acting from the boy character, Mace, the guy that plays him, I think his name was Eric Walker. His acting was just not extremely great, but since he was a kid and everything, and this movie was on such a low budget, I kind of give it a pass and everything. It does have some really great special effects, and Joe Johnston does the production design, so everything else looks pretty decent and everything. It has some pretty cool practical effects. There is some stop motion effects that are dated, but besides that, it's still a fun movie and everything. It just takes a little bit of time to get going. Once it gets going, it's a lot of fun though. So, Caravan of Courage, an Ewok adventure, is number 11. And number 10 is Rogue One, a Star Wars story. This one I was really, really disappointed with when I saw it the first time. I think I was expecting too much out of it. I had heard too much good about it, so my hype had gotten a little bit too high and everything. And when I rewatched it the last time, I didn't enjoy it quite as much the second time around, but when I rewatched it this third time to do my review, I ended up really, really liking this movie. Now that the hype has died down and the movie's been out a while, and it had been a while since I had seen it, I really enjoyed it a lot more. I really like Jyn Erso. I think she's a really cool character, and I like the character that Donnie Yen plays a lot. The guy that does I'm One with the Force, and the Force is with me. I love him and his friend. I can't remember either one of the characters' names, but both of them are really cool characters, and the scene with Vader at the end of the movie is so awesome. I remember when I saw that movie, when I saw the movie in the theater, the entire audience just went crazy during that Vader scene. It was just so awesome and a great scene. That scene alone was worthy of going to see it in the cinema. But I do like Rogue One. It's not one of my most favorites in the franchise, but I do still like it quite a bit, and I liked it enough that it made the top 10. So Rogue One is number 10, and number 9 is Ewoks: The Battle of Endor. I really, really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. The visual effects and stuff in this movie are a lot better than the first one and everything, and that's due to this movie obviously having a much bigger budget. Once again, Joe Johnston does the production design, so most of this stuff looks really good, and I absolutely love the character of Noah, played by Wilford Brimley. He was just really great as the character, and I liked the new character, Teak, who lives with me. He's this little creature and everything. He's just really likable. He can run really fast, and the villains of this movie are done really well. There's this evil sorceress that's pretty cool, although she's kind of underused. But I also like how dark this movie is. Within the first 5 minutes of the movie, that Cyndel's parents, the little girl from the first movie, her parents and her brother Mace, all three get killed right off at the beginning of the movie, and I kind of like that because it's just really dark and everything. And I noticed that the guy who plays her dad in this one is the same guy from The Breakfast Club that played the principal. I can't remember what his name is, but I thought it was kind of weird that they had him in here for a few minutes. He was a bigger name actor. I don't remember who played him, the character in the first one, but he was a lot better though. And the mom, you don't even really see her face or anything. You just kind of see her lifeless body sit next to Mace right before Mace gets killed, and hit everything. So this one is a lot darker and everything, and the tone is kind of crazy because the movie is supposed to be aimed towards younger viewers and stuff, but it's also really dark. So a lot of people I know don't really like it. They say it's not really for adults, but it's too dark for kids too. But I think it's a really fun movie, and it's really underrated. So Ewoks: The Battle of Endor is number 9, and number 8 is Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. This was a huge part of my childhood and everything, and it could have been lower, I guess, if most people might have had this. Well, actually, I don't think most people would have had it under the Ewok movies, but I really love Phantom Menace as a kid. I was the target audience that movie was going for and everything. I was 8 years old when the movie, or 7 years old when the movie came out. I didn't see it till I was 8 years old, but because I didn't get to see it till it had been on video for quite a long time. But I remember when this movie came out, I had all kinds of toys, and I really wanted to go see it in the theater, but I had nobody that was willing to take me, because there weren't like a lot of Star Wars fans in my family, and that, or they just didn't want to face the crowd because they knew how crazy it was going to be and everything. If I would have loved to get to go see it when it first came out. I did happen to get to see it in the theater though when they re-released it in 3D. But I really enjoy this movie, especially the third act. The fight between Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, and Darth Maul is one of my favorite lightsaber battles in the franchise. The pod racing scene was pretty cool. It does kind of get slow in the middle though. Like in the middle of the first act and second act kind of are a little bit slow. Not near as painfully slow as Attack of the Clones though. And for the most part it is still really enjoyable. The CGI though has not aged very well and everything. I wish that they could like do a like just get somebody like Jon Favreau or someone to do a like tweak on some of the CGI and make it look a little bit better on a special edition version. But besides that, I think that The Phantom Menace is still a good movie. I have a lot of nostalgia for it and everything. So it's number 8, and number 7 is Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Now, from this one up, all of these movies are ones that I absolutely love. They're some of my favorites in the whole franchise, and some of my favorite movies of all time in general. And this one is no exception. I just absolutely love The Force Awakens. It was a great start to this new trilogy. I think J.J. Abrams did a really good job at bringing back Star Wars to what it was like in the original trilogy. The practical effects were all really good. I love the new characters, especially Rey and Kylo Ren. My biggest complaint on this movie, which I know most people probably would say it too, is the death of Han Solo. I wish that he wouldn't have died in this movie. I wish I would have waited to either kill him off in The Last Jedi or even The Rise of Skywalker. At least let him have some time. But Harrison Ford wanted out, so that was probably the only way they were going to get him to be in this movie. And for what it was worth, though, he did a great job as Han. He stepped back in the role and was still great and everything. I still get goosebumps every time I watch the movie and him and Chewie appear on the Millennium Falcon and he says, "Chewie, we're home." Just such a great scene, and this is just a really fun movie. So Star Wars: The Force Awakens is number 7, and number 6 is Star Wars: The Last Jedi. I remember when I went to see this movie opening night, and everything. I absolutely love this movie, and it was really high up on my ranking when it first came out, and it was high on my ranking until I did my big rewatch with all of the movies right before I went to see The Rise of Skywalker, and it's dropped a little bit, and not really because it's a bad movie. I still think it's a really great movie, and everything. I love that it took risks and stuff. It didn't play it safe, because one of the biggest complaints everybody had about The Force Awakens was that they played it too safe and everything. Personally, it didn't really the risks and stuff they took didn't really bother me, and everything. I liked Luke's character arc. I mean, because I know a lot of people were mad that he didn't like go and face down the whole First Order and all that. Like, and they even threw shade at people's expectations in that movie. Because when Luke says that thing about, "What'd you expect me to do? Go with my laser sword and face down the whole First Order?" But I like that it kind of took twists that you weren't expecting, because of the fact that if it would have been exactly what you expected, I mean, it kind of would have been boring. So I like that they did things differently and everything. There were some things that I think they could have done better, though. And I do kind of wish that Luke wouldn't have died in this one, and so that he could have had a bigger part in The Rise of Skywalker. But I still really enjoyed this movie. I think it's still a lot of fun, and people are finally starting to come around to it after they saw The Rise of Skywalker, and they say, like The Force Awakens, that one plays it way too safe. I think most people think that it played it even more safe. But personally, I really like this movie a lot, and I'll talk more about The Rise of Skywalker here after a while. So Star Wars The Last Jedi is number 6, and number 5 is Star Wars Return of the Jedi. I really loved this movie. I like that it was at the time it was a satisfying conclusion to the Star Wars saga. It was a great way to end the original trilogy and everything. I love almost everything about this movie. I know a lot of people don't like the Ewoks, and as I've said before talking about the other Ewok movies, they never really bothered me and everything. And actually, after seeing the Ewok movies, I actually kind of like them a little bit better now that I'm older and stuff. I actually like the Ewoks a little bit more now than I did when I was a kid. Now I love this scene at the beginning with Jabba and everything. That was a really awesome first act, and then the whole third act with the throne room stuff was awesome and everything, and getting to see Anakin finally come back to the light and everything was awesome, and the way he killed the Emperor was cool, and the big scene between Vader and Luke was really good, and you see Luke almost totally lose it and go to the dark side. I thought that was really cool and great character arc for him, and just it was a really, really great ending. So Star Wars Return of the Jedi is number 5, and number 4 is Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. Easily the best of the prequel trilogy. And I remember when I went to see this movie for the first time, I was like 12 years old. It was the very first Star Wars movie I ever got to see. Me and one of my good friends at the time, Ethan, we went to see this movie, and it was a total blast from start to finish. It was one of the best movie theater experiences I had had up to that point and everything. I just absolutely loved Revenge of the Sith. In fact, that year I had for Christmas, I had a big Revenge of the Sith Christmas. I got all kinds of toys from the movie, and I got the movie that year, and I even got some Star Wars puzzles and games and stuff for Christmas that year. And that year for Halloween, I was dressed up as Darth Vader, and it was just a really, really good movie, and it's easily one of my most favorites out of the franchise. It's barely number 4, and it could go up to number 3 when I rewatch the next one on here. So I'll go ahead and get on to the next one. Number 3 is Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. I really love this movie. I've only seen it once, so it could go down on rewatch, but from the first viewing, I just absolutely loved it. The pacing was great. The action scenes were awesome. We got a really good lightsaber fight, the best one since the best lightsaber fight since Obi-Wan and Anakin in Revenge of the Sith. They brought the Emperor back in a really good way that didn't completely undermine Vader's redemption and wasn't disrespectful to the ending of Return of the Jedi. I love where they went with Rey's character and her parentage and stuff. And there was this particular scene at the end of the movie that I absolutely love. I'm not gonna say what it is, but anybody who knows me knows what I'd be talking about. And everything. I don't want to spoil it, so that's really all I'm gonna say about The Rise of Skywalker. I just really loved it and felt that it was a really good ending to the franchise. I mean, could they have ended it better? Possibly. But, to be honest, I just really loved how they did it. And also loved how they ended Leia's story. She was in this movie a lot more than I expected. I thought the way they ended it was really nice. And everything for her story, too. And The Rise of Skywalker was a really great movie. So, and I'm hoping to get to see it again, so maybe I can do a spoiler review and everything, because I know there's things in the movie that I probably missed on first viewing and everything, and that's one of the reasons I want to rewatch it before I go too much into spoilers. So, but yeah, so The Rise of Skywalker is number 3, and number 2 is Star Wars: A New Hope. This is probably the Star Wars movie I have the most nostalgia for. I remember I was 6 years old. I was staying at my grandma and grandpa's house for the weekend, and I was trying to get my grandpa to let me watch Star Wars. He kept on saying no throughout the whole weekend because he said I wouldn't like it and everything, and he finally gave in, and we watched it, and I've been in love with Star Wars ever since. It's been one of my favorite movie franchises of all time. It's actually probably is my favorite not horror movie, just movie franchise in general. I remember I had all kinds of Star Wars toys growing up. My favorite was a Darth Vader toy that I had, and I even had an old Han Solo that was from the 70s that I think might have actually been my mom's, because she was really big into Star Wars when she was a kid. And then by the time I really got into Star Wars, she had gotten to where she didn't like it anymore. But I just absolutely love A New Hope. I've watched it I don't know how many times. When my grandpa died, I got the video copy that we watched for the first time, and I wore that thing out. Same with the other 2 movies in the trilogy, because he had the special edition box set. And I just absolutely love this movie. It has probably my favorite scene in the whole franchise, when Luke is looking at the twin suns and that music is going. John Williams' score is just absolutely amazing, and I just absolutely love this movie. So Star Wars: A New Hope is number 2, and number 1 is The Empire Strikes Back. This is easily not only my favorite Star Wars movie of all time, it's my favorite sequel of all time. And it's just such a great movie. It takes the world from the first movie and expands it really well. The characters are more developed and everything. I love like the relationship between Han and Leia and everything in that iconic scene when he's fixing to be frozen in carbonite and she says I love you and he says I know. One of the best scenes in the movie. And then Luke's training with Yoda is awesome, and I really liked Yoda in this movie and how silly he was. I know a lot of people didn't like that, and they said it was kind of off-putting the way Yoda acted, but the way I look at it, he'd been living in isolation for 20 years on Dagobah by himself, and he was kind of losing his sanity. But I really liked him, and I love the big final act when we learned the truth about Vader being Luke's father. One of the best twists in movie history of all time. I remember when I watched that movie for the first time, it was actually the same day that I watched A New Hope with my grandpa. I watched that one too, and Return of the Jedi. Yeah, I remember looking at my grandpa and being like, whoa, is that really true? Is he really Luke's father? And everything. My grandpa was like, well, you just gotta wait till the next one to watch it and find out. And it just blew me away, and everything. And it's just such a great movie. One of the greatest movies of all time. It's probably my second favorite movie of all time after The Wizard of Oz. But yeah, so anyway, that's my ranking for all 17 Star Wars movies. I hope you enjoyed this video. I probably will do a few more Star Wars videos where I rank like my favorite characters, and I might do my favorite lightsaber fights and stuff, or just my favorite moments from each movie and stuff. So if you want me to do that, let me know in the comments, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Also, let me know what your favorite Star Wars movie is, and how you would rank them. If you haven't seen all 17 of these, just rank the ones that you have seen, if you want to. And hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.